everyone. This is Anomaly. Of course, my name is John, but my $5 Journey author name is Anomaly. So check out the book if you can. Thank you so much for checking me out on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook at the $5 Journey and on Twitter at Anomaly77. All right. So also Outlook. You can contact me there. I will make sure that I leave all my contact information in the caption below. Today, I just wanted to talk with everyone about a topic that I read about actually in a book, and I've been hearing different pundits, different people in the media talk about it. It's actually about scarcity. I've actually called it the doctrine of scarcity. Now, scarcity, a lot of times when they talk about it, they're talking about lack of some sort of resource. Now, with the $5 Journey, you guys know that I'm talking about wealth. You know that I'm talking about finances. I'm talking about building wealth. So we're going to apply that doctrine of scarcity. We're going to apply that scarcity to learning about financial progress, about wealth building. All right. So first thing, the doctrine of scarcity, what is it? It's basically, it's an illusion that says that there is not enough, that you don't have enough, and that there's no way for you to get enough unless you are willing to exploit someone, you are willing to exploit in a bad way, you are willing to do kind of maybe unscrupulous things in order to get that. Scarcity leads to a lot of problems, a lot of social issues, a lot of environmental issues. We can even associate it with laissez-faire capitalism. Go look it up. So that's what it is. What does it look like when it comes to finances? Well, it looks like, we don't, like I said, it's an illusion. So there is a perceived lack that you don't have enough. Your goal is to say get one car, and by the end of everything you have 5 cars. All right, and the cars are not necessarily for any particular purpose. It's just because you wanted them, and they're not bringing you any benefit. And matter of fact, you have to pay out on them. They're not bringing money in, so they're a liability. They're not an asset. Whenever you have a liability, it decreases your wealth. Whenever you have an asset, it increases your wealth. So a lot of times this doctrine of scarcity causes wealth not to increase, but to decrease. All right, especially if you are not an oligarch, right? What the oligarchs do is they kind of take advantage of people, and they kind of shape the laws to kind of best fit them. But for the average person, for the average $5 Journey reader, for the person coming out of college, or for the high schooler, or for any of the 95% and below kind of people in America, that's not the situation. So what ends up happening is, because we want to validate ourselves, because we feel that we have a perceived lack, we want more, give me more kind of thing, and we end up going into credit card debt, loan debt, car loan kind of debt. There's a lot of those things, and basically they're liabilities. It's not good debt, it's bad debt. Liabilities that kind of rob us of our ability to financially progress, to build wealth. All right, so that's what that is. Second thing is, once you recognize that about yourself, right? Once you recognize that, my goal was having $5 million in the bank. Now my goal is to have $5 billion in the bank. Now my goal is to have $5 trillion. Once you recognize that you have that thing inside that says, there's never enough. All right, once you recognize that, right, you see what it looks like. You want to reject it. All right. So here I have reject consumerism. Reject consumerism. Basically, it's like, those things that you feel that validate you by buying more, by buying all the different makeup, or buying all the different hair products, or buying all the different sneakers, when you really don't necessarily need them. Buying the different color, different kinds of cars, or, different color cars of the same kind of brand because you want, you have a red one, you want a yellow one, and then you want a blue one. You have to reject consumerism, okay? Because consumerism leads to the proliferation of debt. It leads to a lot of building up of debt. All right, bad debt. Again, bad debt. We're not talking about good debt. All right, we're not talking about things that I borrow $100,000 on a property that's worth $300,000 that is yielding me $5,000 a month income. We're not talking about that kind of debt. We're talking about bad debt. All right. So you want to reject that. Now, another thing is, sometimes with consumerism, we have a sense of validation. Like, we want to validate ourselves by buying whatever, by getting all this stuff. It makes us feel good about ourselves. All right. When we can't do that, a lot of times we end up at a place of hopelessness where we think, well, I can't do this. I can't, things haven't been going right. I can't, get the job that I want, or I can't, get the promotion that I want, or I can't make the money that I want, or I can't get the car that I want, right? And so we think about all these things that we can't do. We look at our lack. We look at the scarcity. All right, we look at the scarcity because the doctrine of scarcity says more, give me more, right? The more that you have, the better off you are, the more validated you are, the better you are as a person, right? But again, it's just an illusion. So you don't want to focus on what you can't do or what you don't have. Focus on what you can do. Focus on what you do have. What can you do? Can you start up a business? Can you provide a service? Can you get good debt, right? Debt that's going to bring you in assets, bring you in wealth. Can you do a side hustle? Can you take this kind of course that is not going to be so much money, but it's going to increase your ability to make more money? Can you do those things? So don't look so much at, what is lacking, all right? Of course, you need to recognize where any sort of deficits are, where any sort of lack is. But what I'm saying is don't focus on those things, all right? Don't focus on those things. Focus on what you can do. Focus on not on the lack, but on the abundance. Focus on what you have. Work with what you have, and instead of using negative mental energy or negative emotional energy to focus on what you don't have, right? Whatever the cars are, the sneakers are, the clothing is, the makeup, the hairstyle. Instead of focusing on that, on the lack, focus on what you do have. All right? So hopefully this was helpful. If you can learn to overcome this doctrine of scarcity, guaranteed you will see more abundance, you will find more satisfaction with your life, and you'll be able to improve and progress financially. All right? Build some great wealth. By the way, just as a side note, I am getting another YouTube channel. That YouTube channel is going to be focused on this business that I'm opening up, Gotta Go Gaming. One of my other businesses, I'm actually in the process of selling. That I already have a buyer for it. That's going to go through probably right at the beginning of August. And then I'm taking on a new business that's going to kickstart at the end of August. So, sometimes I know different people have been wondering, hey, where you been at? What's going on? Anomaly. Well, I've been doing some speaking engagements. I've been trying to do some writing. I've been working on the workbook, and I've been concentrating on opening up one business and selling another business. All right, so that's what's been going on with me. Please stay tuned. Make sure you like this. Make sure you share this. If you have any comments, please leave them. And until then, remember, it's not a sprint, but it's a $5 journey. Thanks. Bye.